Hello again, my name is Gabe Zona. I watched a professional district attorney, and last month we watched a clown of a district attorney. And who am I making reference to? Well, I'm talking about a district attorney in Wisconsin. And his name is Ismail Ozain. And I'm talking about a district attorney in Baltimore. And her name is Marilyn Mosby. Now, they both have the same responsibilities. And they are both black. Well, one is like Obama. He's mixed race. And a mixed race district attorney is Ismail Ozain. They both had people in their cities killed. In the case of Ismail Ozain, a white police officer put 7 bullets into a 19-year-old unarmed individual. That tragedy took place on March the 6th. The investigation conducted by Ismail Ozain took 2 months and 6 days before he announced his decision as to whether or not to prosecute Officer Matt Kenney. In the case of Baltimore, it took Marilyn Mosby less than a day to charge 6 officers, 3 black and 3 whites, with a series of crimes, including murder. Now, in the case of Baltimore, a known drug dealer that had 24, I believe, previous arrests by the name of Freddie Gray was found seriously injured in the back of a police van, and he subsequently died 6 days later in the hospital. Now, what's the difference between these two district attorneys? Well, one seems to care about his job, his responsibilities, and the citizens of his city, whereas the other is more interested in creating a name for both herself and her councilman husband. He's a councilman in the district that this tragedy in Baltimore took place. Now, for those of you that watched the presentation given by Ismail Ozain, he was incredibly thorough. He walked us through the event. He walked us through 3 911 calls. He walked us through the witness statements. He walked us through Officer Matt Kennedy's statement. In the case of Marilyn Mosby, she pretty much gave a speech. I hear you. I hear you. I will answer you. I will protect you. Not concerned about protecting the police officers. She was trying to prevent a riot in her city. What's that say about the mayor of Baltimore? What it says about Stephanie Burke is that her city's a tinderbox. We saw it explode. And it could have been a whole lot worse if Marilyn Mosby wouldn't have hung out those 6 police officers. You know what Marilyn Mosby reminds me of? a vigilante group. You know, where something took place in the Old West, and there's a group of people there with a rope. Or it could have been in the Civil War area, before the Civil War, when blacks were strung up on trees. I think it's disgusting. I think that Marilyn Mosby needs to be fired. The mayor needs to be fired. The police need to have all those charges against them dropped. What I believe happened, and I made mention of this in numerous previous videos on the topic, Freddie Gray resisted arrest. There's video showing him running away, running inside of a building. When the police finally caught him, a police officer put his knee against Freddie Gray's throat. I don't know which officer did that, but I believe it was at that point that his voice box was crushed, which is what the autopsy report apparently had said, and his neck was broken. You could see he was incapacitated. He couldn't walk. His legs were hanging and dangling beneath him when the police threw him into the back of the paddy wagon. Should he have been secured? Well, it appears that 3 days prior, a law was passed in Baltimore where prisoners were to be secured with their seatbelts in the back of the paddy wagons. That obviously didn't happen. Now, there's speculation that the police officers might not have even been made aware of that law, since it only was instated 3 days prior to the event taking place. You know, I've made some videos. One of them I think I titled Rush to Judgment. Well, why would Ismail Ozone take 2 months and 6 days? And why would Marilyn Mosby take less than 1 day? Well, the answer I think is obvious. Ismail Ozone is a professional district attorney that reviews all the facts before he makes a decision. Marilyn Mosby rushed to judgment to appease the savages in her city. It's really that simple. The citizens of Madison, Wisconsin should be grateful that they have a district attorney like Ismail Ozone. The citizens of Baltimore should demand that the officers are released and no longer charged with a crime. That's sort of what I think. Sadly, it seems not to matter a whole lot what I think. The question now is, what do you think? Which city would you rather live in? Which district attorney do you think did his or her job? The answer is obvious, is it not?